Leo.
Hello Leo, this is your forecast for February 2014, and we got Venus with us now, moving direct again here from January 31st. It went retrograde right before the holidays on December 21st and retro all the way to the end of January, but now it's getting back on board. So what did that mean for you? Where were you in January? What were you processing? When Venus goes retrograde, it is a time to reassess where and what it is we value. And for you, your Venus here in the 6th house has to do with your daily routines, where you're at, what you want. Also reassessing who you associate with in your daily life, spending your time with and around. And also health matters is also ruled by your 6th house. So some of you have kind of been checking up on the state of health, maybe starting to work out some more, feeling that you might have been needing it. And right now here, top of the month, Venus is now currently conjunct Pluto. So, excuse me, got a cold. So Venus here has a powerhouse of energy with Pluto in this area. Whatever it is you start right now, you will have the power and the consequences of this showing up here for a long time to come. Now, it could also tie down and into whoever it is you work with, like coworkers, for example, or where you work for your employer as well. So it could be the day-to-day routine at work. It's not the 10th house like career, but it's more like the way you work and what you don't want to work with no more. That's what retro was all about for you. And it being in the sign of Capricorn, well, Capricorn ruled by Saturn really puts a lot of seriousness on this Venus. It's like, okay, really having a wake-up call, really looking closely at what's important. Venus is also love and romance, okay, so Saturn is giving it this very clear, grounded way of looking at what you want to have in your life, you know, and those things that really live up to your standards here, Leo, those people, places, circumstances, you're bringing them into the future. You know those values and you will embrace that. But that said, it's also those things where you no longer feel has lived up to those standards. Well, come here, February, it looks like you have had good time, ample time. You've had 5-6 weeks now to really look at what really hasn't really measured up here on the heart level. And so Pluto might just transform that, put it into a new groove for you. And this groove is something that can impregnate, impress upon that path for a long time yet to come. Now Mars, see, is also in the sign of Libra. Libra is doing the same thing on a different level, but still somewhat the same, because Mars right now is really figuring out how much goes here and how much goes there. Okay, for you, Mars right now, 3rd house for communication. It has a lot to do with also where you were last month in the sense of wanting to not just look at your finances, because that's a whole different story here. Your Mars right now is looking at the scales of worth. Okay, so we can think worth is a 2nd house thing, you know, self-worth. It's ruled by Venus. It's the house of Taurus, but it's in your 3rd house, so it's communication. But you still have worth here as far as the scales being represented here by Venus, right? So there's still a Venusian energy in how you communicate and who you communicate with. Okay, you're going to have this process going on here, Leo, for 6-7 months. It started here in December, so until July. And Mars is where we put our action. That's where we put our drive behind our words. It is 3rd house, so it's all expression. It is communication. But Mars is what forces it ahead. And you're going to be listening a whole lot more, too, to who says what. You'll do that until summer. Who says what and why they say it. And what do I want to do about it? You know, it's like this scale is going to be all time active, more than a long time. It only takes 6 weeks to go through the sign. 7, 8 months, well, there's a deeper message there. So it's better to know what it is so you can kind of hardwire it into your biocomputer there so you can recognize it when it comes, okay? And it's not going to be on all the time, even though it's passing through the sign. But it's more like, okay, it's working here in the background, and Mars here will help you take the action that you're going to need. And plus, you got the cosmic energy that's going to help you whenever it is needed to set some finalities when time is right. That's Uranus that can help you just split off from something. Uranus for you is coming here from the 9th house, so it's kind of opposing Mars. So where the 3rd house is knowledge, the knowledge we hold. 9th house is wisdom, you know, seeing the larger picture. So sometimes, you know, if we just act upon knowledge alone, well, sometimes that can backfire because we're not looking at the long-term consequences of it. That's the 9th house. So be careful, though, that Uranus won't shortcut things when things get a little too heated, because what it would want to do whenever these planets here are exact, they're not exact opposite. They are by sign, by house, but there's too many degrees apart. Uranus is 9 degrees, Mars is 23 degrees, but so they're still here in friction. Now go back to just the very end of the year, coming into January there, you might have felt and seen and experienced more the exact opposition, okay? Where it was like that. So right now it's relaxing. House and sign is still opposite. But then we're going to have Mars here between now and July. It's going to retrograde. It's going to go back over that very same debris that we had here right before New Year's. And that will give you time between now and then to kind of rethink. If this was more like a major situation, for example, it might need to go back over, refine, figure out, do you still want this in your life or do you not? And by the time it hits that retrograde and will turn around, go correct again, well, you will, if not already, have made your decision by then. So you have ample time. In the meanwhile, what I really like about Mars here in Libra is that Mars, Venus energy, which is very creative. So you might find yourself in creative pursuit, expressing yourself more creatively, attracting people who have more of these talents and skills to you know, learn knowledge from them. That's the 3rd house. Or maybe you teaching also, giving off the knowledge, the insights that you have of these talents here. Especially because the 9th house, which has to do with teaching, learning also, is involved. You can come across some really good masters right now, okay? 9th house is the masters, and you got Uranus there. And in that, I'm also seeing perhaps some of these teachers that you can come in touch with, they're kind of like outside of the box. They're Uranian, okay? By Uranus here, it could even be that you may be learning that over the internet, perhaps. Uranus is also technology. That you can take like a long distance course, for example. That's one way this can work. But they will definitely not be representing the old school ways. It's all new thinking. I think you'll absolutely love it. And there's a spiritual feel to this too. Now you're feeling quite emotionally, romantically, very intense here, top of the month. This is going to pass after that first week. Then we get into the 6th of February. Mercury is going to turn retrograde for a better part of over 3 weeks till the 28th of the month. So this is a time that we know by now that we don't sign any papers, documents, or agreements. You can talk about it and work it, tweak it, negotiate it. By all means, research it. And then just hold off until March 1st onwards. If you can wait till Mercury's out of its shadow, that's March 20th, even the better, but not necessarily. You can do it, March 1st is good. But for you, your Mercury retrograde here, right now, top of the month, it's right into Aquarius there. So you're into that 8th house, looking at finances, looking at commissions and so forth. royalties, how you can grow perhaps some money in a partnership business with a friend, a joint venture of sorts. All of this is really, really good up till the 6th. Now, the 6th thereafter, don't sign, but it's still a really good time to kind of look at this area and how you perhaps can grow more royalties and commissions. But then see Mercury going retrograde, it's going to go back into your 7th house. This is where it's been transiting here in January. So you want to kind of go back over and look at what wasn't really finished, completed, or chapters not yet concluded. Mercury is going to go back there and see what it can do to finalize and tweak and maybe even just put a different little touch or an ending to it, so that when it moves direct again, whatever that is, this is with a significant other or a partner for you. It could be your spouse, for example. At least if there was anything just dangling there, you're going to bring it back down to earth and fix it. This is what we love about retrogrades. It gives us that second chance, you know, so we don't just leave things busted in the past, right? So what else? Big things we have. We still have that Jupiter retrograde, Jupiter for you in their 12th house. I think most of you Leos are enjoying it there, even though, yes, we like the big boost of life to kind of come out there in these grandiose ways, which Leos appreciate. But it is taking time off to self. It's listening to that inner calling of wanting to more so align spiritually with the larger picture. It's you looking at that cosmic whole. What more can I do to kind of grow and expand this area? How can I be quiet and listen within and tune into those higher messages? This is what it's about. You Lions, Leos, you're spiritualizing, and you've always had that knack of it, but it's really like opening up and absorbing, and then preparing yourself for when Jupiter is going to move direct, which will be April 8th onwards. And then it's still going to be touring your 12th house in this hidden area. I say hidden because it's not really out there in the public. Excuse me. It's more you having it here on your inner self and preparing. And then it's going to move out. But we'll see that later this spring on the next tubes. But it will be coming out in your 1st house. That's when you're going to have it to your sign. So that's like summer, and then you're going to have it for a beautiful whole entire year. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing to look forward to. Now, Valentine's. Gotta say this year, I don't care what age you are, whether you celebrate Valentine's or not, but we have a full moon, big, beautiful full moon here on Valentine's. It is in the sign of Leo, so guess what, Leo? It is going to be in your 1st house. It's going to illuminate your 1st house. That means that you are radiant here on the 14th. Must be a very special day for you this year, particularly because not every time will it come here and be so glorious. And I'm seeing how it is just going to put you on the map. You're going to feel great. Sure, we have full moons in February, you know, every year, but not every year does it fall on this date. So those of you looking for something extremely romantic, those of you looking for engagement, marriage, this is a fantastic time for you. Best time that you could have it. Doesn't really matter in this sense that Mercury is retrograde. If you're going to sign a marriage license, perhaps, you know, you can sign it either before the 6th or after the 30th, but just go get your licenses and have them ready, and then you don't have to deliver them back in to the city before after the end of the month. But then at least, you know, you're not going to be rattled by that retrograde as far as signature goes. But yes, Venus is really in a place of power. Venus is here wanting to cement its emotional feelings. You know, it's in the sign of Capricorn, right? So it's wanting to put down those long-lasting and very riveted intense roots, which Pluto is. So it's going to be a great, great month for you. Now, then we also have here, I'd like to say, if you look at what took place there in December for you, this is what now is going to come forward. And I'd like to say you're going to have a flash of that on the 11th. So whatever was there in December, there's a talk coming up here. It's the Sun Saturn. You might feel that, okay, you're being met in the doorway again here with it. But as long as I see what you've been working here in January, you're pretty already convinced that you know what you want. You've already done that reevaluation, you know, with the Venus retrograde, where you have reassessed what it is you want. But at least here on the 11th, looks like it could be a day where this is going to come up and come out, and you're going to share it, and then so be it, because it's pretty quiet. Early first week or two, things are picking up there by the 11th, then onwards rest of the month. We have February 15th, where I see a lot of dynamic energy coming in. That's the Sun and Mars in a beautiful angle to one another, and that's firing up that drive that you have, the ambition or your goals coming in, and perhaps also helpful people coming into the picture here, where you now can actually cut through and follow that spurt of energy. 16th as well, a good day to negotiate and talk and get more insights to perhaps whatever this may be. The Sun will be in your, it's still in your, yeah, from the 7th house to the 3rd house. So this has to do with partnering up with somebody, speaking with somebody very closely, very directly on certain matters that you can actually bring future goals to. I'm seeing that expansion taking place, and it's preparing you for that expansion for when Jupiter is going to go direct in April. So it's like you're laying down a certain foundation right now, getting more insights, tidbits of, should I say, the format, the framework of this, whatever it is you're working on. Only you know what it is, and can be different from all of you. But this framework that's coming into the picture is what April onwards is going to carry. So it's definitely time to kind of look into matters, and I see that you're doing it. And this is then pretty much what we have for you here for February. Leo, as always, it's such a pleasure to speak with you. And do listen to your moon and rising sign, just as you can get more insight as to what the month is going to fill you from that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so you can get this of your March forecast directly to your inbox. And I'll see you next month.